Chimera Hockey is a new brand based out of Wales. They reached out and asked if I'd like to try their latest stick. I obviously said yes, and they sent over their at the time unnamed new stick. The stick features an extreme low bow profile with a drag flicking groove and has an 85% carbon content. The stick weighed in at 532 grams and had a balance point of 40 centimeters from the head of the stick. The stick has a really interesting pattern on the back, which I think is an optical illusion to help beat defenders with skill, but let's see how it plays. The first thing that I really noticed when I got the stick onto the field, even though it's an 85% carbon stick, because of the concave and the construction that they have used, it feels much stiffer, so it plays more similar to a 90 to 95% carbon stick. Because of this stiffness, you can feel the moment the ball hits the stick as it transfers that feedback up to your hands. This gives you a lot of confidence on the ball, moving it around on the end of the stick while not having to look directly at it. Because of the grooving they've added to aid drag flicking, the face of the stick has a slight cupping, which is fantastic for holding the ball while you're dribbling, but is something you have to take into account when receiving the ball to make sure that you get your hands over the top of the ball when trapping, otherwise it will roll up the stick. The cupping works really well though, especially when you're carrying the ball on reverse, as it presses the ball into the pitch and keeps it in contact with the stick at all times as you're pushing it forward. This means it's great for using one-hand extensions to beat defenders. Obviously, being an extreme low bow with a groove to aid drag flicking, the stick is great for getting under the ball and using 3D skills. You can really keep control of the ball because of the touch compound on the face of the stick, helping to hold the ball in place a little bit longer. Like I said in the intro, the stick has a really interesting pattern on the back. What I found when I let one of my friends use this stick was that pattern made it very distracting when they were dragging the ball left to right and moving the ball around quickly, and it made it more difficult to keep your eye on the ball. As I said, this stick is very stiff. Because of that, you get a lot of power transfer when hitting, so you can generate an amazing amount of power on shots at goal. Because of the extreme low bow and the drag flick aids on this stick, it's very easy to get under the ball. As long as you can get this dialed in, it's very good for putting the ball into the top corner or roof of the net. But it does take some getting used to, and it's a very fine line between hitting the top of the backboard and putting the ball 5 foot over the goal. But like I say, once you've got that down, it is fantastic for shooting. Because of that fantastic power transfer, it's very good for playing passes, but you have to take into account the shape of the stick and really keep your head over the ball to keep it flat to the pitch. As long as you're hitting with good technique, it's easy to keep the ball flat to the pitch, but when you're getting late into a game and you're maybe a little bit tired and your technique starts to deteriorate, you can easily put a bobble on the pass and make it more difficult for teammates to control. The stick is great for slider passes though, utilising that drag flicking groove to move the ball down the stick and generate extra momentum on those slap passes. The stick features a very thick reverse edge. This gives you a very consistent hitting surface, so you can easily connect with the ball and hit a long flat pass or a low shot at goal. Because of the high stiffness, it has excellent power transfer through the edge of the stick into the ball, so you can really generate a lot of force on your reverse stick hits. Because of the thickness of this reverse edge, it can be a little bit difficult to get under the ball when you're wanting to shoot high and keep it under control. With a little bit of practice though, you can consistently hit the ball into the roof of the net on reverse, but because of that thickness, it does take some getting used to. So the stick is an extreme low bow with drag flicking aids built in. It is obviously fantastic for flicking. It's very easy to get under the ball because of the cupping of the face. It guides the ball up onto the face so you can accelerate through. Because of the stiffness, there's no loss of power when flicking. You can quite easily push through the ball and launch it into the corner of the goal. You also have a lot of control of the ball because of the touch compound on the face of the stick holding it. So if you want to play a lifted pass to a teammate, you have great precision in giving that lifted pass over the distance and height that you want to give it. When you are shooting at goal, you can utilise the drag flicking groove, moving the ball up onto the shaft of the stick before whipping it back down to generate additional power. Because of this, the ball does stay on the stick a little bit longer, so you have to be careful when aiming, or you can very easily launch the ball over the top of the goal with the extra power generated. Similar to flicking, this stick is fantastic for overheads. You can utilise the extreme low bow to get under the ball easily, and the stiffness of the stick allows you to push through with no loss of power, so you can easily throw the ball halfway down the pitch to a teammate with accuracy. You can also make use of the drag flicking aids, motivating the ball up onto the shaft of the stick before whipping through to add extra distance. Again, you have to bear in mind that if you are doing this, it generates extra power and you can easily lose accuracy on the pass. This is really what this stick has been designed for. The touch compound is fantastic for picking up the ball. You can easily take the ball in stride and it stays close to the face of the stick. As you accelerate through the drag, the ball is easily guided up the bow by the groove on the shaft. You can then whip the ball back down the aggressive extreme low bow profile, with it again being guided by the groove straight back down the stick to the face. The power generated is fantastic as the stiffness of the stick again transfers all the momentum into the ball, allowing for an excellent build-up of power. Because of the aggressive profile, you can add some deception to your flicks as well by utilising different styles of release, releasing either earlier in the arc or moving your wrist, or by moving your wrist so you release it at a different angle. Some of these can affect the power of your flick, but because of that deception, it means it's equally as likely to beat the goalkeeper. So I'm a huge fan of this stick. I really like the power output as well as the balance for dribbling. So it had fantastic power for hitting when you were shooting at goal, but you didn't lose any of the close control that you need to make that space in the D. And obviously an extreme low bow with a groove designed for drag flicking was fantastic to flick with. Whether that was an overhead pass, a small lifted pass to a teammate, 3D skills, or obviously drag flicking. I think the graphics on this stick aren't designed to be some kind of optical illusion, but I do think the pattern makes it more difficult to keep your eyes on the ball as it's moving very quickly in front of you. I really recommend having a look into this brand. I think this is a fantastic stick. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video of what you'd like to see in the future. If you want to support further, head over to bossheadhockey.com. I sell grips and t-shirts and hockey related stuff over there. Or if you want to join the Bosshead Hockey Club via Patreon or via Instagram, you get early access to reviews, you get bonus entries into giveaway, and it really helps me to support this channel and keep doing it.